No one could call them glamorous. No one fought to be assigned to them. Living on board was hard and rough, and handling them at sea was hell. But the landing craft held the line between defeat and victory when the moment came for the assault on Fortress Europe and the beginning of the end of Nazi tyranny. Landing craft were the Royal Navy's warriors for the working day, built quickly and cheaply, not intended to last or even survive, as they took on Hitler's Atlantic Wall, riding up the D-Day invasion beaches on their flattened hulls. But recognition of their vital role in delivering D-Day came right from the top. Supreme Allied Commander General Dwight D. Eisenhower knew it and said it.
The three tools most important for winning World War II were the Jeep, the Dakota, and the landing craft.
That puts our ship, Landing Craft Tank 7074, in very good company, with the Go Anywhere Jeep and the Fly Anywhere transport aircraft, the Douglas DC-3 Dakota.
If you just imagine D-Day, there's close to 7,000 warships, landing craft, of all types at D-Day. There are 800 LCTs, so that's the big landing craft like this one, and this is the last one. So she's phenomenally significant, really important. She is the last survivor of all those big landing craft. And for us, although she had a long and complex life after D-Day, she was built for D-Day, and with these things, they really kind of thought they'd got their money's worth if they'd done a few trips to Normandy. So for us, that is her significance, and our intention is to put her back as close as we can to her configuration in June 1944, and that's what she'll look like when she rolls out of this building. She will look like the landing craft that hit the beaches in June 44.
But LCT 7074's career looked set to end with a whimper rather than a bang. Decommissioned in 1948, she ended up as a nightclub. A favourite for a Royal Navy run ashore, but far from ritzy.
You would head for the club ship landfall, which was unusual, I think is the best way to describe it. Moored alongside the wall in the docks as it was, and you would climb the gangway, and then you would go down into what presumably had been the deck of the well deck of the landing craft, although you sort of lost your bearings once you got inside this thing, and it had been converted inside. There was a bar and a disco, and I think a rather sticky carpet on the floor in places. But it was a place to go, and it was absolutely heaving with people, because people would go there because it was an after-hours drinking club where you could go and drink until maybe after midnight and probably right through into the small hours of the morning, and then you'd stagger back through the dockyard and find your way back to your ship.
Worse was to come. Abandoned and rusting away, this forgotten D-Day heroine slowly sank at her moorings. But then the National Museum of the Royal Navy, with the support of the National Heritage Memorial Fund, came to the rescue. LCT 7074 was recovered and brought south to Portsmouth Naval Dockyard. Once there, the hard work of restoration got underway.
We've got an awful challenge here. Firstly, there's all the salts and silts from when she was under the water, basically. We've got to deal with all that and get that off the ship first. We had all sorts come out at the bottom of the bilges. We've actually had an eel in the forepeak, which was probably about 3 foot long. Obviously died many years ago. But yeah, there's a lot of silt and sludge and crud that's just basically what's out the Mersey is in the bottom of this boat. So we got an awful lot of heavy corrosion, laminated of steel basically, we've got to get rid of. We've currently got probably tonnes of rusted steel removed so far. You know, myself personally, my grandfather was at D-Day. He was actually at Gold Beach, so my grandfather may actually have seen this ship when it landed.
Landing craft tank 7074's new home will be here at the D-Day Story Museum, right on the front at Southsea in Hampshire. The LCT veteran will be outside the museum, protected by a special awning, clearly visible from the road along the front. She'll be seen in her wartime camouflage paint, with 2 D-Day tanks on board, and re-armed with 2 Oerlikon guns on either side of the bridge, just as she was when ready for action. The project has won the support of the National Lottery Heritage Fund, who are financing the restoration.
What we do at the D-Day Story is tell the story of D-Day through the personal stories of those that were involved. And I think what's really good is visitors will hopefully come away with a sense of what life was like for the crews on board. And of course it's going to be so visible along the seafront. People are going to see it and say, what's that? And they're going to be really intrigued by it and want to come along and find out more.
We tend to think of professional naval officers in frigates and destroyers and cruisers. This one is reservist manned. There's only 12 sailors on this, 2 officers and 10 men. They're all incredibly young. The commanding officer is a 20-year-old trainee solicitor from Swindon. As far as we know, he never went to sea in his life. He had minimal training, and he's thrown into the sharp end. He picks up this ship in April 44. She's underpowered, blunt-bowed, flat-bottomed, carrying a huge load, steers like a brick, and that's his first command. Now, to me, I think it's a harder seagoing challenge than anything that's more beautiful that the Navy might have been operating.
For now, the work goes on day after day to repair the ravages of action and time on LCT 7074. When that's finished, she'll be a fitting memorial to those who manned her and to the tanks and soldiers that went ashore in the teeth of the enemy on the 6th of June 1944, beginning the final battle to destroy Nazism and to deliver Churchill's promise that we could move forward once again into the broad sunlit uplands of a Europe free from tyranny.